Okay, so we're gonna start at 5:20 of this video. We're gonna watch about 10 minutes. Okay, here we go. Let me know right away if you're having problems.
To our team, and it was a
You hear it now? Yep.
very important kind of moment. We were seeking for stimuli, but you said something at the time that you said, listen, crisis, something to the crisis is a great revealer, right? To leaderships. And you know, when we hung up with talking to you, we took that to heart, and it really became a rallying cry for us. Who is it revealing? And what became a health crisis became a, a social justice crisis. It became a bunch of different crises, an economic crisis. So I'm really curious now, looking back, while it's not over, it does feel like it's starting to get behind us a bit, at least in the US. What did the crisis reveal about your organization, and more importantly, about you personally?
So before Simon answers that question, let me ask you the question. We went through a worldwide pandemic. Here at Preferred Compliance Solutions, where most of you were employed in the organization. What, in your eyes, what did the worldwide pandemic, quarantine, the 2 years of unexpected upside down in the business world, what did it reveal to you about Preferred Compliance Solutions?
Jose, can I share?
Yeah, jump right in, guys. One after the other when you're ready.
All right. So yeah, I was thinking that for most companies, it was such a big challenge to start working from home, or to even teach their employees that they could do their own work from home as well. But for us, that was no big change. We were already there. We had the tools, we had the procedures. We were engaged with that type of work as well. So even though it was new for most companies, it was not new for us. So it was not such a big challenge. Maybe there were other challenges, of course, especially for those of us who had our kids here all the time, or doing homeschooling at the same time and all that. But that was like apart from that big challenge of working from home, maybe.
Awesome. Yes.
Jose?
Anybody else? Yeah, jump right in.
Can I jump in? I was a little surprised. I remember, well, I came in the company, I think COVID already was going on, but in the last few months, like I remember you were saying like, oh yeah, and we're gonna do this app, and this is the time to grow, and we're gonna hire more people, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that. And I was like, at first I was like, wait, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Like, how can you support so many people, like financially speaking? And then you said like compliance preferred doesn't really have any debt, like we're good. And it was things that taught me and that made me think even about my life and how prepared financially I was for that time and moving forward. So that's something that struck me as well.
Awesome. Next person.
So I was hired 3 months before the pandemic hit, and it was a crazy transition for everything, right? But I remember like one of the very first meetings after everyone else started becoming homebound was Jose said, you have to remain relevant in the company. We saw a significant decrease in the number of files that were being uploaded. No one was moving. Like everything was just kind of grinding to a halt. And Jose said, hey, we want to keep you. We want to keep you in the company. We want to keep you hired, but you need to work on yourself to make sure you remain relevant. And I think that was so important. And I think about it almost every day.
I love that. I love the subject of being relevant. Okay, one more person, and then we'll go to Simon. Going once.
I have one.
All right, go ahead.
I remember how you also mentioned how you were able to pay us, and you were a company that did not have to borrow any money. You guys had been prepared from before, and how calm and collected all of leadership was. And it made us feel very stable, very secure working here. And I just thought, wow, like this is the kind of thing that in our own personal lives, we sometimes go crazy when we have crisis. But you guys were so calm and collected as a leadership that it made us feel the same.
Yeah, it helps to have people like Kelly, Carrie, Jared in the team because they can foresee a lot. So awesome. All right, so here we go. Thank you all for participating. Let's see what Simon answered about his company. This question.
So about our organization, I learned a couple things that I was proud to see and a couple things that I knew I had an opportunity to change. Some of the things that I was proud to see is that we had a good culture, a stronger culture. You know, you never really know how strong these things are until you're tested. You know, you don't really know how strong your relationships are until they're tested. You don't know how the quality of a crew until you hit a storm. You know, sailing in calm waters is fun and easy. And so I was really, sort of you wait and you're like, I've been doing all the work. I hope this works. And I was really proud of how our culture was able to withstand stress and tension. It was able to maintain empathy. We were able to reorganize. Like one of the funny things, like I've spent time with the US Marines, and there's this funny thing that people misunderstand about military culture, which is they think it's always command and control, do as I say, don't question my orders and all that. And that's not how it is. And what a young Marine officer explained to me, that we build relationships and we build trust in peacetime or back at home station.
Okay, so let's stop there for a second. How did Simon answer the question? What caught your attention from his answer? Forget about the Marine part, because the Marine part is going to get into it in more detail now. But before the Marine part, what caught your attention from there? Anyone?
He started with what he was proud of, and he mentioned that there's stuff that he realized he could improve on, but he wanted to highlight what he was proud of first. And the one thing that caught my attention that I wrote down, what he says, the culture of your crew, you really don't know if that's going to work until you're put in a stressful situation. And I just think like all the stuff that we do, all the trainings we do with Mike, the books you have us read, and I just think the temperament of our crew, regardless, we have a really good culture, and we have enough people, that if someone falls, we can catch them, and it's not going to be a huge, massive tsunami that takes us out. It's like we have enough people within our personal teams, and then how our teams back other teams that, worst comes to worst within the workflow, we all help each other out. So it's not the end of the world if, someone calls in sick or we have a lot of people out one day.
Yeah, I love that. I love, you got into it, Bernie, when he talks about the first thing he mentioned is culture. Is our culture is what allowed us to be strong in a time like this. But that didn't take away the fact that we needed to change our business strategic a little bit. He talked a little bit about that, and I think he talks about it later on too. That they also learned that as well. So someone else.
I was gonna mention that he also he's viewing it all under a positive light. Instead of saying, oh, these were the good things and these were the bad things, he still viewed the not so positive things in a positive way.
Yeah, I love that. You're right. In a positive way, then hey, this was a time for us to learn. This was a time for us to adjust and do different things. And just so you know, and Justin, he talked a little bit about it, is it was either Justin or Sam that talked about that we were talking about doing these apps and doing all these things. Those were all as a result of what we foresee in the industry. And Jared could add a lot more to that. Some of the things that we decided to change in the organization to make sure that I continue to accelerate the growth that we were hoping during a time like that. So also one more person and then we move on.
Jose,
Hey,
Yeah.
here.
I just,
Sorry.
yes,
Okay, two more people. Go ahead. One goes and then the next one. Go ahead.
so I'm with Bernie. Thank you, Bernie, for mentioning that. I am backed up by my team, and that is what I love about my work. So when I answer something or do something, even if I don't know, I am backed up by my team, by my senior, by Carrie, by you, and that's what makes me stronger. I am strong not because of me or what I'm thinking or what I have. I am strong because I have a team that is backing up me. So I am amazing.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. Who's going to go next?
Me.
Go ahead.
What I was going to say is that something like a worldwide pandemic that none of us had ever even dreamed of, except for sci-fi movies, definitely put us all out of the comfort zone. And that is a very creative zone, actually. So I think that even though I am new in the company, I can see how it creates a bond even stronger, as Bernie and Xiomara were saying. And I believe also is an opportunity to really create, be creative and create new ways of doing things, see ourselves behave in different ways. I mean, comfort zone is comfort, but when you are out of the box and out of your comfort zone, that's when magic can happen.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. Let me rewind a couple of seconds so that we can start on the Navy SEAL team when he talks about the Navies. I think it was the Navy or Marines, one of the two, but let's listen to this section. It's really cool.
Say, don't question my orders and all that. And that's not how it is. And what a young Marine officer explained to me, that we build relationships and we build trust in peacetime or back at home station when it's calm and we're in control of all the environments. But when we go to war, absolutely, there is a time and place for command and control, because you need to have somebody organizing everything. And he says, the reason it works is because if I hadn't built the trust during the calm, during the peace, then people wouldn't listen to me, they wouldn't trust me. But they know that if I ask for something in extreme stress, that they will follow my orders, knowing that I would never put their lives at risk needlessly. And so there is a time for command and control. And what we started to see was, it became a lot harder. I remember saying to the team, hey, I know that we're all sort of like, talk about our feelings. And if you're having a hard day, let's talk about it. I'm like, I believe that, but I need to put that on pause right now. Like if I say something that's a little rough because of the stress that we're under, I absolutely want to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it in 2 weeks.
I love that section. I hope you paid attention to it, especially the last part, because we live in a world where everyone wants to be living in the emotion part of life all the time, the I feel good portion. But there's times when life is gonna suck and work is gonna be hard, and we gotta just give it all we got. And the kumbaya feelings may not be the right time to put them on. They may have to wait till later on. And sometimes we need to have hard conversations, and sometimes we're gonna have beautiful conversations. It's kind of like that message I send you all when I say, I'm sorry if I don't say good morning, how are you, or this, when I'm trying to address you every time. Don't take it as I don't mean it. When I start my conversations with anyone in the company, very rarely does it start with a good morning. And the reason for that is because a lot of times by the time I'm doing it, I'm already halfway through my day. I also know how busy you are, so I want to get straight to the point. But then there are other times when I want to be more compassionate and empathetic, and I want to feel and express those feelings. And sometimes, especially with those that I communicate with quickly, sometimes they put me right back to, hey, I don't have time for this right now. Like he was saying, we'll talk about that later. Right now, we need to talk about this. And it is the hard stuff that we need to just get out of the way right now. And then we'll worry about that part later. So anyway, anyone caught into that? And anyone have anything that they wanted to share on that?
I love that. You go.
Okay. Something that caught my attention was when he said that we build relationships and we build trust. And that's something that I see within our team. And that's very true.
Yeah. You know, I early in my career, I learned the significance of giving trust to others and seeking for trust from others. I mean, we're talking level 1, and he's going to get into it right now. He's talking about, level 2 of the 5 levels of leadership. Just seeking that permission, which is that gift of trust, where you say, you know, teach me. I want to learn. So I'm gifting you my trust to teach me. Now, when that trust happened here at Preferred Compliance Solution, I truly believe that is when you make the decision to join the organization. And when we hire you, when we go through the process of hiring, that's when we make the choice to gift you trust. And then you make that choice and gift us back trust. But he's going to get into it now, and I hope you don't miss it, where he talks about that even though that happens, it needs to be nurtured. And it's something that constantly needs to be worked on, protected. And that's why we have these meetings. You know, I sent that email this morning saying, guys, how critical it is for everyone to attend the first and the second Tuesday of the month, our meetings for the entire company. And the reason is because it is here that we build that, where we talk about those things that will allow for that continual trust to be able to work and to be able to be nourished and be able to become something beautiful in a time of crisis, in a time like when we're at war and directions needs to be making, or in a time when you yourself may be struggling in a way that you're not sure whether you should approach your supervisor or not, because how is it going to be perceived that you are struggling with something very personal that could potentially affect your work? Is it going to be seen as a sign of weakness in me, or is it going to see as a sign of strength that I'm going to my supervisor and sharing this? So again, that's how I think it kind of relates. So any comments from anyone before I start the video again?
Jose, I would like to, oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you can go first. I'll go after you.
Thank you, Christina. Yeah, I actually, well, that struck a chord in me about building trust, as Crystal was saying, in times of peace. And I can see this trust that in our team, we get to develop in times when everything is quiet and calm. But then because our leader has taken the time to connect with each one of us and develop, and as you said, nurture this trust in us. Whenever we need to push through as a team, we do it. You know, somebody needs our help, then we all, you know, take 1, 2, 3 files, whatever is needed, because we know that if we are needed, and our leader asks us to do that, like what he said, that you are not going to ask me to risk my life needlessly. That's something that he said, you know, and the Marines, they say that. So if we are asked to do something, then we trust our leader, and we know that we're going to push through and be successful at whatever we're asked to do, even if when we're asked a special task. That's why I always tell my SPM, you know, if you ask me to do that, is because, you know, I trust you, you know, like if you believe I can do it, then I'm going to start believing in myself, because sometimes I don't see that, but you are able to see it. And because I trust you and you have nurtured this trust between us, then I'm going to do it and I'm going to be successful at it. And in that process, I know that I can count on you to, you know, support me in whatever I need. So I love that.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you. Awesome. Christina?
I just really like the verbiage that he used when he was saying building trust during the calm, so that when everything is chaotic and stressful, you still have that trust. And I think that dives deeper even into the relationships that we have with our sites, because I mean, in the beginning of the month, in the middle of the month, when they have those bulk uploads, they need to know that we also have their back. So when they're emailing us or they're getting like a whole bunch of corrections, they need to be able to trust in us that we're going to be able to walk them through this and help them to make sure that everything gets done accordingly. Because on our end, it's stressful when we see all that stuff coming through, but we just have to put ourselves in their shoes and be empathetic and see how crazy it is on their end as well. So to have them trust us and put that into our hands, it means a lot. And even on our teams, like Elvira was saying, I have a lot going on. Like I have so much to do during my day. My calendar is like, I'm never not doing something. So to know that if I ever needed to, I could reach out to Megan or Amanda or Monica or Chris. Like I know that if I ever needed to, my team will be there and step up for me because I trust in them that they have my back.
Awesome. That's beautiful. Thank you. All right. So here's the rest of the video on the subject of trust.
Right? Because right now we have to do something. And I was amazed how well the culture accepted that because of the trust we had built. So I was really proud of that. Some of the things that that needed to change, business.
You guys seen the video?
No, it froze.
Out of the water, right? So you get to see them in their whole.
Go back a little bit. Can you guys see
had
it?
to change and had to change for years.
Yeah, we could see it before.
Right, so you get to see them in their hole, and you're like, "Oh my
Right.
goodness!"
Right, you're like, how did this thing ever stay afloat? Let's patch that up right now. Exactly right. That's exactly right.
There's so much to that word trust. It is a core of every relationship, but I think it's really the DNA of a true culture, and really being thoughtful about, you can't microwave trust. That's why you can't microwave a culture, and it is thousands of actions over long periods of time. Do you teach, or do you talk a lot about how to build trust in an organization?
I mean, the funny thing is we know how to do it. That's the funny thing. Like, you know how to make a friend, it's you know how to be in a relationship, which is, as you said, it's not like, well, how do I fall in love? It's like, well, you have to remember their birthday. You have to buy them a gift on Valentine's Day. It's like, and if you do those 5 things, they're not going to fall in love with you, even though those things are really important to do. It's the little things that by themselves are completely innocuous. Saying good morning before you check your phone. When you get yourself a cup of coffee, you bring them a cup of coffee without even asking. They're having a bad day. You had a great day. And you can't wait to tell them about your great day. And they said, I had a bad day. And you put all of your excitement aside and you listen to their bad day. And it's these little things that by themselves do absolutely nothing. As you said, they add up. And everyone's different. Some people can trust quickly and some people trust slowly, but everyone can trust. And one of the things I'm fascinated by, when you think about your friends who have the best relationships, the best marriages, and you say to them, what's your secret? And they almost all say the same thing, which is, it's a lot of work, right? Yeah. Like the best relationships actually aren't easy. The best relationships require constant attention. And I think very often we think of building trust as an event. Well, I did that for you and now you will trust me, but it's not. It's
just to not get confused, my teaching of gifting trust to what he just said. He said, building trust. It's not an event. Gifting it is a choice. Gifting, making the decision, I'm going to give to trust, and then being able to build from there is a choice. Building it itself, which is what he's talking about. Strengthening it is what requires time.
Your teeth. It requires constant attention. You need to keep doing it. Yes, you can skip one night because you're too tired to do it. You're okay, but you can't skip too many nights. And no dentist can tell you how many you should or shouldn't skip. It's a constant thing. And I think trust's exactly the same. And whether you're doing it with a friend or you're doing it at work, or you're doing it with a customer or a client, it's all the same relationship. It's human.
you know, and you see it in our basic instincts. We just took in, you know, another stray dog. So we rescued a dog. It's our second one. And he came from the streets. He'd been on the streets for 4 months. He'd been kind of in between for a month, and there was no trust for the first couple weeks. And then all of a sudden, you can see him starting to trust humans, and then once in a while he reverts back. But then, you know, he comes back, and it is such a instinctive thing for us as humans. It's the same thing. You're watching, you know, an animal do it in trust. Humans, we do it exactly the same way.
And I think it's such a great analogy, because as you give love to this stray dog, that you don't really know its full story, right? You don't know the kind of abuse it experienced. You don't know, but you commit yourself every day to giving that dog love with no expectation of anything in return. You will never quit giving the love. And it's the same. I think one of the mistakes that people make is they treat it like an equation, which is, I've given you 7 things and you haven't given me back anything yet.
Right.
And again, you show up with constant love in order to build trust. That doesn't mean that you discover that the relationship can flourish. You can definitely discover that this won't work, but you do it with the desire to build trust. And I had a great conversation just recently with Tim Shriver, who he just became a grandfather for the 3rd time, and like the baby is days old, you know.
Yeah.
And he said to his daughter, Rose Shriver, "What do you hope to learn?" And she said, "I hope to learn whatever it takes to make this baby feel completely loved." And I was so struck by that.
Yeah.
Where so often we show up in the world to be loved, but we don't put the effort in to do the extra effort to make someone else feel loved. And she used the word learn. I hope to learn that none of us, though our sense of belonging is innate, are the skills that it takes to build trust. Those are learnable, practicable skills, and they require just that. They require practice, constant engagement. And if you don't use them like a muscle, they atrophy. But I think the idea of taking oneself on the journey to learn the skills of trust is sort of basic requirement of every human being. Like we take it upon ourselves to learn those skills for the good of those around us.
That's interesting, because it's a topic that is not studied as much as some of the other topics. You know, this whole notion of trust. You know, you reminded me. You know, my mother. You know, my mother passed away in December, and you know, she was. You know, the more separation I get from her, the more I realize how much I learned from her, and the much she impacted, you know, my philosophy of life. And she said that, you know, we only learn to not think of ourselves when we have our true first meaningful relationship. Right? Because our whole lives, you know, the terrible twos is me, and then, you know, through teenagerhood is the separation. It's all about this like uber fixation on ourselves, and then once you fall in love, you're like, there's somebody else I'm trying to please. So it's absolutely a learned behavior, right? And it's something that we definitely get better. It sounds like you're getting into relationship counseling here. I think you got some good thinking for a book, Simon.
And I think in business, unfortunately, we give short shrift to those skills. I mean, think about how we talk about it in business. We talk about hard skills and soft skills.
That's
you know,
true.
First of all, we call those skills soft, right? Like they're mushy. And second of all, hard and soft are opposites, right? They don't work together. Those are opposing things. And I think we have to stop using the word soft skills. It delegitimizes these skills. There are hard skills, which are the skills you need to perform your job. And then there's human skills, which are the skills you need to be a better human being. And to be a thriving member of any team, you need hard skills and human skills. And it's a company's responsibility to help you learn both.
I like that. I like that a lot.
All right, so that's the last part of the video that we were going to share. So I'm gonna mute my mic, and I'm looking for everyone to share, not everyone, whoever feels impressed to share. Hopefully we can get 5 or 6 people to share. So just jump one after the other and share what thoughts, what you learned, what got your attention, what you hope others were able to catch as well, whatever. Just share it, please. Go ahead.
I can share some thoughts. I used to be a trainer, and I just unlearned the concept of soft skills. And it's really interesting how he puts it, because most of the soft skills that we talk about when we teach people on how to work on those soft skills is related to building a relationship. And I'm glad, as he mentioned, that companies should be able to help us also, apart from the hard skills, build human skills. I can certainly confirm that Preferred Compliance is a place to learn those human skills, because we have resources, we have continuous feedback. And I'm really glad to be part of this team, because I'm unlearning and learning new concepts of life.
I think the human skills are harder than the hard skills. I mean, we can be trained to do our job, and there's very clear guidelines how we have to do our job. But when it comes to dealing with people, everybody perceives things in different ways. So something that may not hurt Christina's feelings, I could say, may hurt Tiffany's feelings, or a way in which I convey, like, I'm very much, and I like how he said, and I agree with Jose when he said, there's a time when you just have to like deal with business and then emotion later. I am very much that person. My mom can't stand it. She reminds me of it constantly. But anybody, like 50% of the time, if you chat me and say good morning, I often address why you're speaking to me first. And then after the fact, I'll go, I'm sorry, good morning. My brain works backwards, because that's how my brain functions. So I think Preferred helps us, especially with like leadership and self-deception. That book changed my life, because it made me realize what a hard person I can be sometimes. And I was very much in the box before, just by nature. I grew up in New York, and that's just how people are in New York. So we are a little more, I think, that tough image that they say you have, you definitely have that if you came from New York. So then I moved to Florida, and it's Southern, and it's very friendly and different. So it's just one of those things where I think we're in a company where they definitely help you develop the human skills, but for anyone to say the hard skills is the work part, I think it's the complete opposite, because it's so much harder to be a human than it is to be a worker. So.
I'm so grateful to be here, because I have learned so much, not professionally, but personally, as a person, like how to talk to persons, how to, as Mike Merchant mentioned, how to have that compassion and that empathy, and how for it to flow naturally. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to grow and learn.
I like the part of the video, well, it was right at the beginning where he said that the best relationship required a lot of work. And that's something that I've always believed. When my youngest brother was about to get married, he was having a lot of trouble with the family and fighting with us, and it was a chaos. But I always told him that you need to construct a relationship first with the ones that are around you if you want to spread your love around the world, right? Especially if you're going to marry. So every relationship, it's work, work relationship, friendship, even between siblings, it's a lot of work. But something that he's so right in is that if we don't exercise those skills and those things that we need to do in order to work for that relationship, it will become atrophy. Like it will get stiffened, like a muscle if we don't work it, if we don't relax it, if we don't exercise it, right? It is basically the same with a relationship. I've seen relationships in my life die because of that, because I'm not putting into practice, I'm not exercising those things that I need to in order to strengthen that relationship. So that's something that I really love about Preferred, that it's just constantly looking to stretch those muscles and make us work towards having a good relationship with our partners, with our team, with the sites and everything around us.
Over here, I just wanted to say that he said that relationship actually takes a long time. It takes work, and it has to be constant in order to build a true relationship that works out, that is good, that is worthwhile. And that happens in every environment that we are in, whether it's work, friendship, family. But I think the most important relationship that we have is with ourselves. We need to be able to tend to ourselves without being narcissistic. That's not the point. But, you know, getting out of the box, trying to work and seeing people as people, and all the concepts that we are introducing or you have introduced into the company start with ourselves. So the relationship that we build with ourselves is one that needs attention all the time. And that's definitely what he was saying also. I mean, nothing to do with soft skills. It has to do with a lot of hard work. It's definitely not easy. It's definitely not soft. It usually takes a lot of hardship. So yeah, building relationship starts with oneself and then moves forward into a lot of work that we have to put in and a lot of awareness. Work may sound like, you know, like a burden, but it's not it. It's just being aware, paying attention, being constant with what we truly believe, and put it into practice. And definitely it's a combination. The work itself, as they were mentioning, yeah, it can be mechanical, and that's why hard work and hardship is not as hard, actually. I think is the soft skills or the human skills, as he called it, is definitely a challenge, an everyday challenge.
Over here, hi. Well, what I wanted to say is that just quickly, I was telling a friend about our work. You know, she was asking me, she said, "Oh, you look so happy. Where are you working?" And I started telling her about Preferred and whatnot. And then she sent me her resume. She was wondering what she should write on the resume or what was important. And then I started talking about Preferred, and I realized now that Simon said it, I said, well, you know, they are more, they care more about your soft skills. And then I thought about it and I said, which are the most important skills in Preferred? I don't know why they call them soft skills. And Simon just said the same thing. It's just soft skills and hard skills are usually seen as weak skills and stronger skills. But here, I was just thinking about it, is the complete opposite. The soft skills are the most important skills we should have to work here. And the harder skills you are going to teach us. So I told her, yes, soft skills are the ones that they are more, they're more curious about. They want to know how well do you do working with other people. And I thought about that, and now Simon said it, and I keep thinking every time Jose plays something, this is something that I can just refer back to a couple of conversations ago, and that's just really struck or kept with me, you know. Soft skills, not that soft.
Awesome. Great. Well, I hope you paid attention. I hope you're paying attention. I sent that email and C-suite message a couple of weeks ago. No, it was last week where I said, are you paying attention? And if you're not, you should. I don't know if you're watching the news. I mean, we are entering, if we're not already, in a worldwide recession, not just the United States, but a worldwide recession. I mean, the increasing inflation that your families are feeling, we're feeling it too here at Preferred Compliant, and so are our clients are feeling it too. We have a couple of clients that already decided, you know, I want to take a portion of my properties back because we just want to be able to save money. So in areas that is less significant, less impacting to them, they've decided that it was better for them to take the risk of not having a third-party company review the files. So I hope you're paying attention, because what got us through the Great Recession that they so-called in the 2008, around 2008, and what got us through the war pandemic, and what will get us through this new recession and this increase in inflation and so on, it will be the things that we're talking about. The things that make Preferred Compliant Solutions such a distinct organization as it is are the human skills. That's what makes Preferred Compliant Solutions. I tell people in our office all the time, I can teach someone compliance. The question is, do they have the human skills that are required to be successful in this industry, in this side of the industry, the way that we are? So again, there's never been a better time for us to remain relevant to what is happening in an organization than now. Just like it's never been more relevant for us to remain relevant, to become and remain relevant to more critical, to become and remain relevant to what is happening in our clients on their end as well. So we're releasing new products, new services. We're looking for ways in which we can be more engaged with the applicant, more engaged with our clients, to be able to help them go through that process that they are going to go through. Again, if we are in a recession, that's going to affect every organization. It's going to affect everyone. We don't know what to expect. We can only look back and learn from the past, as in being able to look back and say, well, this is what happened before. So if we did X, Y, and Z before and it worked, we can expect that at a minimum, X, Y, and Z is going to work again. And it is everything that we have talked about, everything that we continue to talk about. We cannot take a risk. Think about this. Jody, how many people are in your team?
Including me, there's 15 of us.
15 of you. Now, think about this. How unfair is going to be to the 14 others if one person chooses to slack, not care, not pay attention, screwed up, and we lose a client from Jody's team. Jody's team is just one client because one person. Think about the life. I mean, in an average, how many families are affected there? At least 15. And then there's husband, there's children. The life of all those people will be affected because one person in Jody's team decided that they just didn't care enough. So I'm going to tell you straightforward. If you are at a position where it truly, you're not there, you know, there's plenty of people that want your job. Finding people to work for Preferred Compliance has never been an issue. I bet as long as you're here, we're going to give you our very best. We're going to work and strengthen you. We're going to do whatever we can to invite you to improve, to become the best of you, to give our clients the very best. We're going to be invested in you. But if you're not feeling it and you are risking the life of so many, it's better to allow someone else to have that opportunity and for you to just step aside. Again, not just on behalf of the 14 others in Jody's team, I will beg you that I would rather you have those conversations with your supervisor, say, hey, you know, I'm struggling right now. Can we talk about this? And be able to go through that conversation because we don't want the life of those others. Because again, our clients are on the fence right now. Everyone is looking at money. Everyone's looking at how to save money. So the last thing we want is a client to go somewhere else or to bring it in house or whatever, just because one person is not doing what they should be doing on behalf of the client, on behalf of Preferred Compliance, on behalf of their own families as well. So again, I'm just begging you that as we enter this next phase of Preferred Compliance, notice I didn't say next trend, it's the next phase of Preferred Compliance, as in dealing with inflation, dealing with making sure that the quality of our service surpasses the client expectation, dealing with trying to bring income to be able to match the inflation that our team members are feeling, which is impossible. I mean, it is impossible to match that at the rate that inflation is going. No organization can do that. So again, these are conversations we have on our end. Jared and I and Carrie and Kelly, we have them all the time. How do we balance that? How do we accelerate that? How do we ensure that the quality is there? How do we protect this? And it's never related to Preferred Compliance. It's always related to the number of lives that are affected by us doing a poor job at what we know that we're good at doing. So again, I beg you to help us protect this. If you're struggling in any way, please, please, please allow your supervisors, they've been trained to do this. Allow them to come and criticize you. Allow them to tell you, you know, let me help you here. Allow them to audit you and to tell you how you can improve and take that opportunity to improve. But if you're not there, then there's someone else at that opportunity. There are people that are waiting to come and work for us. But if you're there, we want to be there with you, and we will help you in whatever we can to help you be successful at it. So, and we understand that not every day will be the same day as the day before. It's the nature of people. My 100% today is not going to be the 100% I'm able to give tomorrow. Or maybe today is not the same it was yesterday. We're not perfect. We never said that. All I beg of you is to be perfectly trying. And if you're perfectly trying, we can help fill in the other parts. So, okay. All right, Kelly, what will you add to that?
What would I add to that? I think just kind of along with what we've talked about, you know, we making ourselves relevant during the pandemic, coming up with these new services. Our goal, like Jose mentioned, is to be there along with you and to do things that can make your job easier. And whether that's new services for our clients to encourage them to stay or to bring in new clients or to provide you different and new tools to simplify things on your end. That's what we're always looking to do, and would love your feedback and help if there's something like that you can think of that would be a benefit.
Also, thank you, Kelly. Carrie, are you there?
I am.
Yep. What will you add to all of the above?
I think the big thing that stands out to me is this setting, I think, is the first time that we've really talked about hard versus soft skills. But looking at the organization as a whole, look at our monthly meetings. 2/3 of our meetings every month are the soft skills. I mean, that's what's important to us. That's what Jose and Mike and others are teaching us every single month. And of course, the hard skills are important, and I hope y'all feel that there are enough resources and tools available. If you're struggling with the hard skills, I think anybody in this meeting would jump in and coach, mentor with any of us if there's an area that we're struggling in. But the true focus of the organization is those people skills, the human skills, which is amazing. You won't find other organizations like this. So thank you, Jose.
Awesome, thank you. Jared, are you there? I don't know if he was able to join, but if you are, Jared, would love to hear from you.
I don't think he's here, Jose.
He's not here. Okay, good. Well, Andrea, let's give you a chance. Is there anything you will correct any of us? There he is. Go ahead.
No, I think that you guys have hit it all home. And I love that a lot of the team members really were focusing on, you know, the trust and their culture and building those soft skills. I think that, as you mentioned, Jose, you know, as we kind of look into the recession and possibly weathering a storm with our clients, we need to really make sure that before we get there, we're building that trust within the calm. So taking all of those soft skills that, you know, we've been working towards learning and embodying, that we're really harnessing that and focusing that with our clients as well.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me share what you guys might have seen it, but I don't want it to go. Ms. Samty, this is what she wrote. She says, I was thinking about what crisis looks like. I read it, what Christ looks like at first, but yeah, what crisis looks like. I realized that all crises are a crisis of hope. No matter what we are going through, it all comes down to hope. You see people who have gone through the hardest things, but if they keep hope and faith, they don't see it is a crisis for themselves. So that's beautiful. Great. Awesome. Well, thank you for your time. I know that sometimes these things may seem repetitive, but I can tell you every time I come together with you, especially when you open your mouth, I learn so much. In fact, I learn more when you open your mouth than when I me doing all the talking. So thank you for participating today. I hope it was special for you as much as it was for me. So have a great day, everyone.